Oh, there we go. All right, good morning. How you doing today? So, I've got three movies for you today. We are going to go with True Lies, which is a pretty good movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Then we're going to go with The Microphone's Not Making Me Happy. Then we're going to go with an old movie from 1999 called You Know My Name. It's a Western. And then The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy will be the final one we're talking about today. So let's do the housekeeping before we get started too much. I need you to subscribe and like and go visit the website, georgelawfree.com, and subscribe and like there. And then georgelawfree.com is also on Facebook. Excuse me. Make sure you go there too. I'm starting to feel better over my cold, flu, whatever it was. So you don't have to stay 6 feet away from the screen no more. We're good. So, let's get into this American classic. The True Lies came out in 1994. It's an action comedy, romance film. And the reason why they called it True Lies is because our star actor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, is a spy, and he tells his wife that he's an insurance salesman, which is, Jamie Lee Curtis. Anyway, so he tells her she's an insurance investigator. He runs off on day trips, week trips, doing the spy thing, and then car salesman gets in the middle of it and pretends he's a spy. She's looking for excitement, so she hangs out with him for a while. And he finds out. He got Libyans chasing him, trying to kill him because he's previous stuff in my eyes, sorry. Previous indiscretions where he was causing problems with or, solving problems with terrorists. Now, this movie was funny. It's cool. It's kind of good. Arnold Schwarzenegger did a pretty good job in this one. So, back to what I was saying. So, the car salesman gets his wife while Arnold Schwarzenegger's in an action, I guess you want to call it, an investigation, action. He's involved in something else in the spy world, chasing down terrorists with nuclear weapons. Okay, so then this car salesman gets the wife to bite on possibly do a mission with him, which he's not even a spy. It turns out that he's just a car salesman, and all he wants is to get a little bedroom fun or get laid. I don't know what's acceptable for YouTube anymore. I don't really care. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I guess I'll do it between videos. So this is based on a French book from 1991. Okay. Anyway, so the guy that's trying to seduce the wife of our spy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, ends up getting picked up after Arnold does a little surveillance and all that stuff on her to find out what's going on, who this guy is, and they gave him a name, Carlos. Anyway, so he, I gotta roll the screen down. So he ends up leaving briefcases with stuff in it, tickets, fake tickets, with her because he's pretending he's on a mission and being completely crazy and stupid, having fun with himself. And then I guess I should have turned that on. Oh well. Studio lights aren't working right today. Then, so he gets the briefcase. She keeps it overnight. Ends up figuring out a way to return it to him. Meets him under a bridge, and he ends up taking her to his mobile home across town. And while they were doing that, they were surveilling with the whole team, and they had some interesting comments about what was going on during the riot in the 1966 Corvette. I think it was 66. Anyway, that's a red one, old one. And they, so when they get there, he tries to get her to shed her inhibitions and have intercourse with him. Then Arnold Schwarzenegger and his team do an insurrection. They break down the wall to the trailer and suck them both out, take them both out. She beats up one of the guys, arresting her, taking her out, take her to a secret interrogation center where she's behind a mirror and they're on microphones. Things Hollywood come up with is kind of strange, but so they end up giving her a mission, and Carlos gets taken to the dam and let go there with a few gunshots. He pisses his pants, which is kind of funny. Then she gets inducted into the CIA, as a spy, and then she gets a mission and a name, Doris. Her husband's name is actually codename would have been Boris, or his Boris, before they got hold of her. Anyway, so the wife gets a mission to go to a hotel to plant a bug and dance for her husband. And she doesn't know it at the time, so it's kind of funny there. Then halfway through it, or 3/4 of the way through the sexy dance and all that, she hits him over the phone, and on the way out, over the head with a phone. And on the way out, they get abducted by the bad guys that he was chasing, so that they can find out what's going on. And she tells him that she's the spy, thinking that she's the one they want, and it turns out that he's the spy. And it's all funny. All the twists are really good in this thing. I highly recommend you go watch it. So she ends up taking him to her lair on an aeroplane, so they don't really know where they're at. But it turns out they're in the Florida Keys after they escape, and then she goes to shoot a gun and drops it, and it goes tumbling down the stairs, killing everybody except for her and her husband. And then once that's all done, they get together, and the car rescue on the Florida Key bridges out of the limo where she fights with the captor lady is pretty good. There's lots of action in this. They use a Harrier jet towards the end of the thing where he has to rescue his daughter. They set off a nuclear weapon in the Florida Keys. So we can't go to the Florida Keys for 20 years or 50 years or 100 years, whatever it is. 100 years. Yeah, it's 100 years. Then, all those people living down there right now are living in radiation, according to the movie. Anyway, so they have 4 nuclear weapons somewhere in the middle of this. They do a chase with a motorcycle and a horse, and end up in the top of a tower. Horse wouldn't make the jump when the motorcycle made the jump to another tower swimming pool and got away. They end up in another tower. Arnold, our spy, takes a Harrier jet from part of the other team that was coming to fight the terrorists. They blew up trucks on the bridge, and we've got the rescue of the wife on the bridge from a helicopter, which she's trying to figure out what's going on, which is a pretty good action sequence there. Then he takes the Harrier and ends up under a tower or under a crane trying to rescue the daughter that stole the key to the nuclear weapon. And they have a whole 20 minutes or half hour of the Harrier flying around with Arnold Schwarzenegger at the thing. Now, in the 80s, they talked about this stunt on the news, and it was actually pretty good the way they did it. I'll let you watch the movie, and then we can get the stunt. Maybe later we can come back and talk about the stunt. So anyway, the daughter gets rescued. They drop the thing, and then at the end of the movie, their husband and wife are both on a mission. Boris and Doris, of course, and then they run into Carlos playing the spy thing again as a waiter, and she gets to put a lipstick container up under his chin like it's a gun, and she keeps saying she wants to do him right there, and they say that, so he pees himself again, and they end the movie with them doing a tango. So I've left a lot out in this movie, so you're going to have to go find it. True Lies, which I had trouble finding the links to it when I put the links up on the blog and on Twitter. So you may or may not be able to watch this movie. It may be one of those movies that are lost in the past and you can't get DVDs or digital copies of it. But anyway, it was an hour and 45 minutes. The budget was $100 million to $120 million. It did $378.9 million at the box office. Compare that to what the new movies are doing. They did a lot better job producing movies in the 90s than they do now. It was made by 20th Century Fox, and it was a International Pictures film. So they did a pretty good job on this movie. And I forgot what I was going to talk about. So let's get away from True Lies. That was a pretty good movie. We're going to give that one 4 stars. And then we'll drop that one off there. And I forgot what I was going to bring up. I didn't even write that down. I thought I was going to do it between movies. Oh, well, we'll figure it out later. The next movie is, You Know My Name. This is a 1999 American Western, drama Western. This is a movie making a movie, movie within a movie. It's based in 1915. Our actor, John Kent Harrison, Elliott Smith. Anyway, so our actor's making this, Harris is making this, Elliott is making this movie at the beginning of the thing, trying to say how it was. This is way back before color and even voice in the movies. It's just... they're just filming it, trying to do it the way it was, and he's making a little extra money. Old Marshal that's retired. He's got a position in the governor's office, and another little town, Horse Right Away, wants to hire him as their local sheriff to clean up the town. So he goes out and checks it out, and leaves his wife and kids at the house that he owns. And these are Oklahoma outlaws, by the way. Then he goes over and checks it out and starts, he goes to listen to the city council, and they offer him money, so he takes the job. So he can spend time with the kids a little more. This lawless town, he starts cleaning up, and he gets it mostly cleaned up. He starts arresting people for illegal gambling, carrying guns, and all kinds of fun stuff in town. This is about time they just start having cars and horses at the same time in the streets. Yeah, he ends up taking care of that, and then middle of the movie, he hallucinates things, telling stories about his past. He's got his movie that he finishes, and then he's working with a former thief, Western thief, and then he also when he's making the movie, so he shows the movie at the little town, and it does pretty good there. The old guy, the old thief, says this is no way to go, and then he arrests like 100 people at one time and walks them to the judge across town or across the state. 2 days walk. And then territorial judge, I guess you want to call him. Then he keeps cleaning up the town. The city council gets upset because they're taking away his revenue and they're getting into him. And then somewhere at the end of the movie, it's probably going to be a short one. I like the movie. I like westerns, and I like this actor too. So this is a pretty good movie. To me, I don't know if you guys like westerns or not, but you should get it and watch it because, if you're going to be on this channel, I'm going to be talking about lots of westerns. Anyway, so he ends up clearing the town out. He went home, did picnic and stuff with the family, and had some more hallucinations about stuff that he had done in his past. And then at the end of the movie, he gets shot in the gut with a gun and dies. And it goes on from there a little bit after that. Pretty good movie. So let's see, what did they do? This thing is a Warner Brothers television distribution. It was ordered by TNT Network. It was released in 1999. It runs for an hour and 45 minutes, and I don't know what it costs to make. So it was probably a TV show at one time. But it was an Academy Award winner. Pretty good movie. It's worth getting and watching. Let's see what we got now. We've got The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oh boy. This one was put out in 2005. It's based on the previous works in fiction. There was another Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie that came out in 1984. I keep running into that when I look it up to get more information on it. So, this other race, I can't remember what they called them, but they were going to come destroy the planet Earth. So this guy from another planet comes and puts a ring on his thumb and puts it out and gets a hitchhike from the bad guys who are destroying the planet. About time he gets on board, they destroy the planet, so they have to hitchhike their way through the country. They got to find what the ultimate question is. They tell history on how they figured out the ultimate question. They end up on what they're saying is to be the president of the galaxy, his ship, and then the girl that our hero likes is on that ship with him, and he's got two heads. One pops up under his chin. As being a president, I guess you can only have half a brain, so he had to do something with the other half. Vulgar. Yeah, that's what they are. Vogan ships. So they're on the Vogan ships, and then they go to the president of the galaxy ship, and then they've got something funny. This is a science fiction comedy, by the way. Something funny called a improbability drive. So it turns the ship into all kinds of things, and then they end up someplace down the road, and then they end up going to the ex-president's place, which he's kind of weird, half a body with a bunch of little legs, walking on tables, mechanical legs. Instead of half a brain, he had half of a thing. So they go and talk to the one computer supposed to figure out what the meaning of the universe and the ultimate question is, and it came up with the first answer, 42. Then it developed another computer and built it to figure out the ultimate question to the universe, and they destroyed it because it was Earth. And that computer is upset about it, and then they finally they get the chamber underneath the computer that's watching TV and find a gun in there. It's called the point of view gun. So you can shoot people, and they have your point of view for a little bit. So I guess it's an understanding gun. But they shoot the president 3 or 4 times. They shoot each other. Then they bounce around the universe for a little bit longer. Then they go to another planet looking for something, and they end up in tunnels that go other places, and they end up going to the factory floor where they make the Earth and make planets. And they show you all kinds of shapes and displays on the wall, and then they get on this big long thing, and they go here and there and through the factory floor, and then they go find the Earth, 2 as they call it, because they're going to put it back in place, because it was a mistake that they destroyed the Earth for an intergalactical causeway, basically a space road. So they end up going on there, and then his house that was destroyed is not destroyed, and then the Vogans, the creatures that destroyed his planet, chase him there after a little while, and they all line up outside of his fence, and they go to shooting up the house and the mobile home and RVs and whatever else is there in a way, and the robot, the sad robot. Yeah, I forgot about him. The sad robot, disgruntled employee type thing. Nobody ever gives me any recognition. Not happy type of robot, which is in the movie. Kind of a stupid movie, but it's funny at the same time. Kind of weird how that works. So anyway, they end up, after shooting for a while, they end up using a point of view gun on the enemy, the Vogans, ship or them, and they end up falling down, passing out, and the crew that's building the planet ends up shipping them off to trash with trash truck. So they fixed everything that they destroyed, and then the boy gets girl. So I guess it's kind of a love story type of thing, and then life goes on, and the planet gets put back to where it belongs. So anyway, those are the 3 I've got for you today. Let's see. We got lots of stars in this sucker. Okay, here we go. This thing came out in 2005. It was in the United Kingdom. In the United States was 2005. It ran for 109 minutes. The English movie, they spent 45 to 50 million on this thing. It grossed at the box office 104.5 million. So, this one did pretty good too at the box office. Not as good as some of the ones in the 90s, but 2015, what do you expect? They got less creative when they're making movies, even though this one's pretty good. It just, for some reason, didn't do very well in the box office. So I give this one a 4-star rating. So here we go again. The GoFundMe page is still there. I wish, the problems that I've talked about in the last video is still there. And I don't think they're going to get fixed. So the plan still stays the same. And things are just getting worse for me here. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and call this one the end and get it up. You should see it in the next couple days. I got over the cold, well, mostly. So it's still probably going to hang around for a little while, and we'll see what happens from this point on. And I'll try to keep you updated at the end of the video what's going on. So that way it's no surprise when I do another bad place to work type job, tell you about it. And so take care, be safe. Don't listen to the weirdos in Washington, D.C., and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.